Hey, hello everyone. This is Sanjit. I'm an AI consultant at Flow AI, where we help founders and CEOs scale their business by implementing AI into their day-to-day business operations. So today, I've got a very special guest, Garrett from Pop Advertising Partners, based in New Jersey. So Garrett and I have been working together for almost a year now, and we've built a great relationship along the way. So he's also been a mentor to me and someone that we could learn a lot from. So Garrett has been in the marketing industry for almost 2 decades, and he manages monthly ad budgets over six figures for his clients in his agency. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time to do this call with me. I really appreciate it. And how are you doing today?
Oh, thanks for the intro. I'm doing great, Sanjeev. Happy to be on a call here and talk some automations and AI with Vesflow and yourself.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, sir. So it's Saturday. You don't work on the weekends?
I work every day. I think one of my favorite lines I've ever heard in entrepreneurship came from Zuckerberg
Oh,
when someone asked him, "How many hours do you work a week?" And he said, "Well, I work 40 hours a week, but I am on mission 24/7." And I think that's a little bit I kind of go with that. I mean, I work every day. I do touch points on my stuff every single day, but I work a pretty normal work life during the week.
wow, amazing. Yeah, like another day, another dollar, right?
Yeah, man. It's out there to win. When I like to win for my clients, and I work with smart people like you to help that. So I take it super seriously, and I enjoy doing it. So I don't mind Saturdays and Sundays. I touch my clients' accounts every single day.
Wow, amazing. That's amazing. My first question for you is, it's pretty straightforward. So, when did you real? So, I think we met about a year ago. So, when or how did you realize? How did you come to this journey of automations, process streamlining?
Yeah, it just came down to it's something that I think most marketers, if they've been around for a while, doing automations and workflows is something you always wished you could do through all these years.
Correct.
And then in the last couple of years with some software and all the different uh, large language models, automations and implementing those automations became, I would say, available to the smaller market, like we are, right? We wouldn't be, big companies out there have been running automations for a really long time, but have I ever been able to automate for the local plumbing guy or a smaller e-commerce person or roofing companies where you weren't able to do that? So it's just the natural evolution of wanting to stay in better contact with customers and increase workflows and efficiency. So it's something I always wanted to do, and just
Correct.
the tools weren't available, and the people like yourself weren't always available who had that expertise just yet 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, automations was something all these tools make, and Zapier, they existed for almost a decade now. But once when
Yeah,
AI came in, automation just went to the next level, and it just became a whole new industry, right? The service
yeah,
providers, it never existed before, just specifically for automations.
yeah, 100%, because it just wasn't available, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Zapier's been around a long time, but early Zap days, it was complicated and the softwares didn't talk well to each other, and it was hard to
exactly,
understand, and it was hard to connect, and it was hard to test, and it was just hard. And it's still not simple. You
exactly.
need someone who thinks about this daily and who has expertise in how these things work. And that's where you came in about a year ago.
Okay, thank you. The other question that I wanted to ask is, while you're managing ad budgets over six figures, so you got to make sure the delivery is there's no issues in the delivery, right? So when these third party platforms or APIs, for example, pixels go down, or the data structures gets changed all of a sudden, it could come in and interrupt our workflows and, break without even a warning all of a sudden, right? So,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of operational risks when it comes to a huge ad budgets. So how do you manage all of these risks, and any points about that?
Sure. So a lot of these risks, we'll call them, do pop up when automations and you're trying to connect things. And the way we manage that is I send you a message that something's not working. But one of the great things about automations in the positive sense is that when things don't work, it also lets you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do get some notifications, and you do get like, oh, hey, by the way, this piece broke. And it happens all the time from the perspective of, I think one of the main issues you and I have worked on over the last year is the transfer of data from these pixels that I put on client
Correct.
websites that identify users, right? And then we have to flow that information through email verifications. We have to flow that into Clavio to ping it. Then we have to flow it back through into the actual correct workflows. And um, there's 3 or 4 softwares being connected and routed
Correct.
through. And I've woken up on mornings and all of a sudden I see notifications that nothing went through. And then you and I take a look and you say, okay, well, the data structure changed from the information that we were capturing was laid out like this.
Yep.
And today
It's different.
it's laid out like this. And you've got to remap it, and you got to have the brain for that. I look at that, I see a completely foreign language. I
Okay.
can
Understand.
I know what I'm looking at, but to me, it's foreign language. To you, it speaks directly to what your brain understands. I don't understand. I understand. I know that I need help. That's where I've excelled in my life.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Talking about the ROIs, or, the results that
Mhm.
you've had. So I think we've implemented like various systems. And could you talk about any? I think we've used blogging and implementing CRMs.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I mean the ROI on automations is actually infinite. It really can't be measured in terms of a percentage. And I'll give you 2 direct examples. One example from e-commerce, one example from local marketing. Right, I help a lot of different people in our business. So let's take e-commerce. That workflow, which captures the data of potential buyers, cleans it, and flows it through, in the last 12 months has produced, this is real, $248,000 in incremental revenue for this e-commerce client. That is not theory. That is not potential. That
Yep.
is the meeting last week I had with the client regarding the pixels and the workflows and the automations that you set up. My idea, you took my idea and actually turned it into
un-
action.
Understand.
That action has produced $248,000 for the client in the last 12 months in 2025. So
Wow.
that's one that you can't measure that. That is January 1st, 2025. They did not have that income or revenue existent or even in their brains as a possibility. We took the idea, the automations, the workflow, and a lot of troubleshooting over the last 12 months produced that for that client. So that's tremendous. So that's piece one. Piece two that you and I have worked on is blogging automation for my local clients.
Correct.
And the importance of that is that uh, now a small operator, a roofing guy, a plumbing guy, an electrician guy that might have a couple of trucks, who's now competing with uh, very large scale operations now. The internet is big. These companies are huge.
Yeah.
So how can you compete? And the way you can compete is in Google Maps and content. And the blogging automation has helped clients' Google business profiles show up in maps to get more calls. So they're getting more calls because we are able to automate content down onto their site to send the signals to Google that we're relevant in this area, and we produce blogs and we have activities. So Being able to set that up for small operators at a really reasonable cost, the automation on that, again, you can't calculate the ROI on
Understand.
getting an extra 100 phone calls for your roofing company because you've used blogging automation, or you and I have set up blogging automation to keep their sites relevant and taggable, and we embed the maps and all that stuff. So ROI on automations, no one can look at automations as an expense. It doesn't cost you money.
Correct.
Automations do not cost money. Yes, I pay money for the softwares. I pay money to have things set up. It is not an expense. It is pure asset building, and each automation you set up is just another asset for your business. So if you're not doing it, you're going to lose much quicker than you used to lose.
Exactly. Talking about this saving of your time. So I think previously your team members were creating the blogs manually, right? Like you got to create blogs in
Oh,
WordPress for different clients manually, right? But now, how does that have changed right now?
yeah. So so yes, we were, doing standard, blogging and using vendors and things like that. And now we plug in the niche, the location into the workflow.
Correct.
And I believe it's connected out to like Perplexity that helps with uh, the appropriate titles and
SEO.
the locations and everything.
Yeah.
And then it works its way through. So what you set up, I'm not 100% sure. I know that it works, and I know that it has removed. I can now take my VAs and my team members and do things that I can wasn't able to do before because
Understand.
I was spending money on blog posting and all these other things. Now I don't have to spend money on that, and I can
Correct.
spend money on getting results in other areas and really expanding my clients' revenue, expanding their assets, expanding their footprints, and just incrementally winning a little bit more each day. And none of that is possible if you don't have automations.
Exactly. Cool.
None
Yeah.
of it.
Amazing. Amazing. Let us talk about the tools. So, although the outcome matters, it's interesting to talk about these tools because whenever someone asks me, like, do you recommend Make or Inherent or Zapier? I would
Right.
just literally use you as an example to explain to them, like, hey, I've got a client, Garrett. He uses Inherent for this purpose. He uses Make for this purpose because both has
Yeah.
their own pros and cons, right? Because I
Yeah.
think it would be great that if you go ahead and explain from your perspective on why you use both of these tools and how they,
Right.
influence your business and so on.
Sure. Well, first off, I'll give you all the credit on why I use both.
Okay, thank you.
I pushed back on using Make
Correct.
initially. And I was like, well, let's do, I saw this thing about N8N and you set some things up on N8N. And then what I really appreciated was, and this is important for anybody watching, your people that you work with, your partners, your vendors, the people you use and work with, you have to trust what they say and uh, understand and listen, and also find vendors like yourself who just don't take what I want and just do it. It's, well, hey, what you want is not as good as what I can do. Now that you
Exactly.
understood what I was talking about, you're like, okay, well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but this should be in Make. And let me explain the differences. I want to just sign in through applications, through Make, and through these things where it's just so native, it's so simple. Where N8N comes in my business and in my belief over the last year, is if there's a lot of things that have to talk to each other, if there's a lot of moving parts, although the cost in N8N is significantly less. So we used N8N for blogging, and it's a fantastic workflow and it works great. We use Make for the client that has that we're capturing 100,000 pieces of data over the last 30 days. parsing that out into where it needs to go, and then connecting it to all other different softwares.
Amazing. Let me share my perspective now. So what you said is absolutely right. And and the reason why you have felt that way is because I think Make is much more easier, not for you, for anyone to manage, understand, learn, and implement. I think you've built automations yourself in Make, right? Just by
Yeah,
using
yeah, some simple ones. I couldn't do what you created, but yeah, like some simple ones, like a little data comes in, connects it to here, and then goes over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so Make is easier to understand, debug, and all these stuff. But again, I would feel that an Eren is as powerful as Make.com when it is hosted in the right place and set up right. When it comes to the budget, so if the client is like, I'm getting like thousands and hundreds of data flowing every single day, in that case, an Eren is always a solution. So that is why
yeah.
some of the workflows for you is set up on Eren, and only properly budgeted ones is set up on Make, right?
Right. Yep.
And yeah,
Basically, that's correct.
correct.
The ones where we knew, I knew that it was going to be mass amounts of data, and I didn't want to revisit it constantly. I said, I have the budget. I let the client know this is, what you want. There is cost to this. Yeah, Make is all the platforms are great. I was always blown away with N8N and Railway on how anyone would even know how to do any of that. If you asked me to set something up on N8N and Railway, I wouldn't be able to do it. If you asked
yeah,
me to say, hey, can you set this up on Make? I could do it.
exactly.
Is it
That is
going to
the
be high
difference.
level? No, but I could do it. Yeah, but I
Exactly.
couldn't even. N8N totally looks like gibberish. I'd pull up N8N. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know what anybody's talking about on this
Understand.
platform, but it is cool and it does work. Not an N8N knock, but if you want to, if you get a little, if you get an email from Make that maybe one of your scenarios didn't, maybe broke, and you get that email and it's a Saturday night, I can at least feel confident I could troubleshoot my way to maybe a solution if I wanted to right there, and then
Exactly.
get on the horn with you
I mean,
on
yeah,
a
that is
Sunday
the
or Monday morning.
difference.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
I feel the difference
mm,
because it's popped up many times that these softwares change. We have our emailing verification software is changing everything for January 5th or 6th. So
oh,
you and
is it?
I, yeah, I just got that email like 3 days ago. I'm like, why? Like, what? Why? Why? It works great. Why is anything changing? But you and I are gonna have to go in there the day after, get
Yeah.
the new APIs and reconnect everything. I mean, that's got nothing to do with us.
For anyone who's watching this, Make is easier to set up, easier to work with, especially you're a beginner or someone who's not into development. And N8N is all, everything is achievable in N8N, but you just gotta, learn it, take your time to learn it. And N8N is working their best to, come as equivalent to Make so that it's easier for users to understand, but still Make is something that is easier for everyone, right? So my next question, or it's not a question though, it's like asking your opinion and what what do you feel? What advice would you have for people in the marketing and especially in the advertising industry, or maybe you could say for all of the businesses on how they
Mhm.
should survive in this AI boom? Because people are going to get replaced because we're not going to be operating exactly like how we do today, right? Things are going to change. So, what advice
Yeah.
or points that you'd like to give for them?
Well, I'll tell you what I talk to everybody about on my sales calls or any outreach to me. I've been doing this a long time. People reach out to me for advice and thoughts on things all the time, and I'm actually taking a really hardline approach now and saying like, listen, if you're not adapting AI to every corner of your business, and if you're not adapting automations into every possible area of your business,
Mm,
the acceleration of your loss is going to be extreme. Where maybe up until now you got away with not getting a lot of reviews, maybe, you send some direct mail or you don't have a good outreach, you don't have live chat, you don't have an AI chat, you don't have anything on the back end for outreach and staying in front of customers, you have nothing. Automations and AI really help with personalization for marketing and advertising. If you're not doing any of that, what I guarantee is somebody in your market is. Someone's
Correct.
being pitched right now. I onboarded 4 clients this month, all because the conversation started with, I'm not showing up in Chat GPT. What do we do? And then I look at their business and I say, okay, well, you haven't had a review in a year. I called your business line twice. Nobody answered. You run no ads, you have no personalization, you have no emails, you have no blogging. Chat GPT is the worst of your problem. We need live chat. You need missed call text back. You need workflows. We should be sending direct mail to people who hit your website. That's an AI automation system.
Correct.
Uh, if you don't do those things, people are getting those things implemented at a really good cost, right? The benefit of AI, if you understand how you want to use it, it's very cost effective in relation to the output of what you get from it.
Correct.
So you're going to get blown out of the water way faster now that AI is here and automations are here than you did from when you started your business maybe 25 years ago and you haven't really done much, but you survived and you made money and everything. But now you're getting to the point where you want to retire. Your business is a little bit more mature. Your kids want to take it over, and you actually don't have a business anymore because the guy who started his plumbing company 12 months ago has double the amount of reviews, a
Correct.
nicer website. His voice AI answers his calls off hours to take appointments. He's
Exactly.
running ads using AI software. He's blocking fraudulent click. He's just blowing you out of the water with a few
Correct.
tools and
Exactly.
one smart guy who can do it all for a good cost and uses smart people to help him, like Sanjeev and Vesflow AI up in here.
Yeah, amazing. Appreciate that. So, yeah, so whenever, I ask someone, hey, you want to implement AI? And if they give me like, hey, no, we're not interested, we don't have, I just genuinely feel, pity on them. I'm like, I feel sad for you. I'm not
Yeah,
upset.
yeah, yeah. It's like I did a sales call the other day with a guy, and he booked afterwards. And what I said, I said, listen, it doesn't matter if you do any of this or not. You just told you're down over the last 2 years. You're not making as much money as you used to. And what I'm telling you, the only way to recover is AI, automations, aggressive offers, new website, live chats. You have to meet the customer where they are. And
Correct.
now, where customers are now in their buying journey, I hate that term, buying journey. The expectation of the customer is high level customer service, answering the phone, showing up on time, seeing ads, reaching out, sending emails, touch points, text messages. It seems overwhelming
Yeah.
until you realize someone tells you, dude, this can all be done with automation. You actually don't have to do any of it. You just have to say yes, and you can save your business or at least give yourself a fighting chance. If you don't do this, I would say just close now. Save all your money, shut it down now, and you'll be in better position. If you do nothing in 2 years, someone's going to just blow you out of the water with using modern tools, using 2025 tools
Yeah.
for your that didn't exist in 2020.
Correct.
So
Well, yeah, you're right. I think this is a smart advice rather than, not implementing all these, you could better shut down because anyway, next few years, you gotta.
yeah, just do something else. Yeah, there's no problem. It's not a big deal. You can pivot, do it now, or you're gonna be out of business. I told a guy a couple of days ago, HVAC guy, been in business 20 years. He's like, it's failing. I said, you wouldn't even have to tell me that your business is failing. You could have just sent me your website, and I would have called you and said, You have no online presence. No one answered the phone. I filled out a form on your website, didn't get a return email, didn't get a text, didn't get a phone call. No wonder you're going out of business.
Exactly.
Your customer from 20 years ago is not your customer anymore. Your customer today expects instantaneous customer service, communication, and outreach. And the
Correct.
reason they expect it is because it's actually pretty simple to do. And if you're unwilling to do it, they'll just find someone else who meets them where they are, which
Yeah.
is driving in your car, texting. As dumb as that sounds, the contractor or the guy or the lead gen who contacts that person back immediately wins the business.
Exactly.
You
And
have to
AI
do
has
it.
made it a lot
Even in
more possible.
e-commerce. Yeah, e-commerce too. You need to be emailing, you need to be personalizing, you need to be capturing data, you need to be texting, you need to be using AI in your ad platforms, in your fraud blocking platforms. You need workflows set into Klaviyo, like all of these things. If you don't do it, there's lots of people who win.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And back in the day, you needed real humans to respond, email back, and all these stuff. But
yeah,
right now, you don't need anyone. You just need an AI system that just get back to your lead.
you see the system. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what I would tell anybody, Sanjeev and Vesflow AI, like the ROI on automations and having an automation consultant on your Rolodex is so important in a modern business, in a 2025 and beyond business. If you are not automating, systemizing, and processing as much as you possibly can and using a consultant like Sanjeev, you're going to lose, guaranteed, much sooner than later because someone's doing that for your competitors are doing it.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
absolutely. And thank
Yeah.
you,
It's
sir,
all I
for
pitch all day long.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And thank you for your kind words. And yeah, and what you said is absolutely right. I mean, they don't have to use me, but they gotta use anyone that knows automations, and they gotta, transform their business and
Right.
adopt to this new, new way of how businesses are running, right? Uh, we've had a great discussion, and I want to really
Yeah.
appreciate you for making the time to do this call with me. And for anyone who's looking to implement AI and automations based systems into your business, feel free to reach out. And yeah, that is all I got to say. Any more words, sir?
No, just if you need AI, you need automations. I am 15 plus years, 20 years in this game. Sanjeev is a high level operator.
Okay.
He
Thank you.
thinks he's not an order taker. He's going to ask you questions. He wants it done right, and he stands by his work. And he's very, very available, which is also important for automations because when things break, can't be like, oh, I'll get to it in a week. It's,
Yeah.
hey, something's off.
Yeah. Needs immediate. It's
Talk
like
to you tomorrow
emergency.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. And you've been so responsive, so helpful. I wouldn't have been able to do any of the stuff successfully without your help. So if you need help, automations, any end, consulting, and you need someone who's going to think and use their brain and not just take your order, this is the guy who's going to help you figure it out.
Oh,
So
thank you so much,
I wish
sir.
you
Appreciate that.
all the luck in the world and everything. And thank you for helping our business and our clients. And I hope I can continue to grow it with you and watch you grow your business too.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much once again, and looking forward to our next meeting.
Yeah, awesome, man.